I remember growing up in outskirts of Sacramento called Elk Grove. We were very poor, very poor. 1942, because of the war. My father and the Japanese American community in Sacramento, they were afraid, and so they wanted to express, we are Americans. Less than a month later, we were riding a train. The shades were drawn, so we didn't know where we were going until you arrived there, and no one wanted to talk. Everyone was traumatized. I think most Japanese Americans are very proud of themselves, how we survived until after the war. I was doing grocery signs for my father, and I was good with a brush. I was going to graduate high school, and I went by a clothing store. I said, you know, I can paint little signs for you. And that's how I got my first suit. And I was painting these huge banners for sports events and dances and everything. My former teacher named Wayne Tebow, who said, Bob, you should be in the advertising department. And I hope one day, somehow, you get to a place called the ArtCenter. A couple of years went by, and I happened to meet an owner of a NBC affiliate in Sacramento. He said, I hear you're very talented, and I've seen your work. What are your plans? I said, well, but I hope to get to ArtCenter. Well, Bob Kelly, unbeknownst to me, knew a lot about ArtCenter. He said, if you meet the standards and you're accepted, I will personally sponsor your entire education, but you have to pay me back every nickel you borrow from me. And somehow in your lifetime, you have to help others, like I'm helping you. I took my portfolio, and the next thing I knew, I was accepted. And at that time, well, the best agency in the world is a place called Doyle Dane Bernbach in New York. When I graduated, I called up Doyle Dane Bernbach. They said, we have 200 portfolios outside, and we have one position open. Well, through some luck and timing, they gave me that position. And I was the first Japanese American there. And the guys used to tease me, what are you doing here? Here I am, just my first commercial. It's called The Egg.
Why not get an extension phone in your kitchen? It costs less than an egg a day.
It was for an account called General Telephone. And one of the nice gestures that happened was one day I'm in my little office and all these legendary people walked into my cubbyhole and they said, that's a great commercial. And that's the one in the Museum of Modern Art. One of the pioneers of art directors, his name was Helmut Krum, a no-nonsense guy who was a perfectionist. After I did my first commercial, he started mentoring me. And they gave me an account called a Volkswagen. They're finally going to have automatic transmission. I spoke to the writer. I said, I want to do a one-word headline. I finally said, finally, how about that? And he said, yeah, okay, that works. And one day I was watching a fashion show of women with different lengths of dresses called midi skirts for maxi. My brain popped. I went into the head art director's office and he looked at us, Bob, let's run that right away. Bernbach took on a different philosophy. To be honest about any product, to bring wit and humor in, to talk to people and not talk down to people. And I learned to keep things simple, that simplicity is the essence of art. Bill Bernbach said, you have amazing talent, but don't keep it here at the agency. Take it outside, help society, help your communities. Jimmy Carter was pressured by the congressional people. He said, what happened to the Japanese Americans? Why were they incarcerated? So they held hearings across the United States in 10 different cities, and one of them was Los Angeles. So I took it upon myself. I did a documentary, and the strategy I used was to tell the congressional people, here's what your colleagues said about us.
There is more potential danger among the group of Japanese who are born in this country than from the Japanese who are born in Japan. I'm for catching every Japanese in America, Alaska, and Hawaii now and putting them in concentration camps.
8 years later, the bill was passed for reparations and a formal apology by President Reagan. I think all artists think about something to leave. It's been an outlet for me to think, what can I give back? And it's going to be left for the generations now and for the future. You've often heard the saying, the luck of the Irish. I've had the luck of being Japanese American.